welcome to Mike Nierychlo online, sharing my love for people, wine, food, and all things made passionately. Alright, today's show, we're carrying on in a very similar theme to the last couple of episodes. So, if you have watched the last couple of episodes, you have noticed that I've moved to Vancouver Island, and I'm loving it here. So last two episodes we covered some Pinot Noir and some Pinot Gris from the island, as well as the two different particular growing areas of the island. In particular, we talked about Cowichan Valley. Now just off Cowichan Valley on the east coast of the island is Cowichan Bay. If you could swim off of Cowichan Bay or take a dinghy or take a boat, whatever you want, straight east off of Cowichan Bay, you would run directly into Salt Spring Island, which is where today's wine comes from. So Salt Spring Island, same parallel as Cowichan. Super curious of what the wines are like coming from the area. So today in particular, I've chosen Gary Oaks Winery. Now, I had the privilege of tasting through a few of their wines quite a while ago, actually. I haven't tasted many of their wines lately. I think it was their 07 was the last wine I tasted. I was quite impressed with them, so I'm excited to talk to you about them today on the show. Now, who is Gary Oak? A lot of people ask that question. Does Gary Oak own the winery? What a convenient name. He's got Oak in his name. That's great. What a great name for a winery owner. Gary Oaks. Let me fill you in a little bit. You know how I've mentioned in the past, all over the Soyuz, Okanagan, there is sage everywhere. Okay. If you visit, you can impress your friends with this fact when you're here, but if you visit Vancouver Island or Salt Spring Island or any really of the surrounding islands, there are what's called a Gary Oak tree everywhere. It's a white oak tree. They're a beautiful oak tree and they're protected over here. So lining a lot of the streets of Vancouver Island are these amazing old gnarly oak trees. They're actually quite pretty. Really neat feature of the island. Gary Oaks, not unfamiliar with Gary Oak trees. They've got a lot in the vineyard, so their website says anyway. Super stoked to see what their wine has to offer. Now, I know we tasted Pinot Noir 2 episodes ago. I'm tasting some more Pinot Noir with you. Pinot Noir has a really soft spot in my heart. That's really all I have to say about that, but I'm going to carry on. It has a soft spot in my heart. I've mentioned before, it's a very transparent grape variety. It really shows off what the land has to offer because you really can't tinker with it too much or you snuff out its true character. And a snuffed out Pinot Noir is a very boring Pinot Noir. We don't want that. Also, Pinot Noir shows off what the land has to offer. And it grows quite well in this area, slightly cooler climates. And it really shows off what it is in slightly cooler climates. So, I chose a Pinot Noir today from Salt Spring to really see what Salt Spring has to offer. What really interests me in particular is this is the Gary Oaks 2010 Pinot Noir. Now, I know that 2009 was quite a warm vintage for the area. Everybody was excited in 2009. I know 2010 and 2011 were a little bit more disappointing. So I'm excited to see what this wine has to offer. So I think I'll get right into it. Okay, right away, what do we smell? I smell Pinot Noir. I smell cool climate Pinot Noir, but I smell Pinot Noir. Overripe Pinot Noir, to be honest, bothers me. It gets really jammy and becomes very simple, very quick. This Pinot Noir is definitely not an overripe Pinot Noir. On the nose, it's a cocktail of bright, juicy berries, and it's very aromatic. I love that. Tons of raspberry, tons of kind of cranberry, and if I'm going to throw cherry in there, because you often do with wine, I'm going to call this almost sour cherry on the nose. I like that. Sour cherry, hints of spice. Hints of spice coming through. It almost reminds me of kind of Christmas cake spice. You know when you're making, at Christmas time in the winter, you kind of make a apple cider or something along those lines, and you throw in a few different spices that are kind of savory at Christmas time. Cloves. That's the word I'm looking for. So I was pausing here in my thought pattern. Cloves. I smell cloves on this wine a little bit. Kind of that nice Christmassy spice. It's got a beautiful nose. Very, very aromatic. And I love the fact that they're still doing this under cork. Now, don't get me wrong. I love screw cap. Screw cap is a fantastic closure. It's great for drink now wines. Doesn't really breathe that well. Cork tends to breathe really well. Here's one major thing I've noticed in the debate between cork and screw cap, okay? Again, I love both closures. But here's one thing I've noticed really between the debate between cork and screw cap. The wine tends to really constantly be able to breathe in the bottle. Wine is kind of a living thing, so air, a little bit of air, is good for it. It keeps it alive. What I've found with screw cap, I really couldn't wait to taste this wine. What I've found with screw cap is I found reduced wines. I found wines that when you first pour them, they don't leap out of the glass. They're not as aromatic. Now, with that said, given a little bit of time once they're opened, and this is just a generalization. This isn't every screw cap wine. This is the odd one I come across. You pour them and you're like, where's the nose? It's hiding. This one is leaping out of the glass under cork. Some screw caps, you give them like 20 minutes, bottle open in the glass, whatever, all of a sudden they come to life. That's the only major thing I've found between the two closures. Take it or leave it. Anyway, I already took a sip of this. It very much reflects the nose, extremely juicy, fantastic wine for 2010. If they're saying it was a subpar year, this is a delicious, very interesting wine. It's lighter in body, lighter in color. Pinot Noir, lighter grape variety. I actually love the color of this wine. It's very pretty, almost matches my shirt. Yeah, lighter grape variety. What I find with lighter wines, you can consume a little bit more. You don't get drunk off them as easy. You feel better the next day. 12% alcohol is what this wine has in it. It's kind of bang on the mark for this varietal. What can I say? They go good with food. Not writing off big hefty wines. I love big hefty wines. I have big Italian wines, big California wines. Wine in general all has its place in the spectrum. But please don't write off wines because they're light. They absolutely have their place and they're delicious with food. Hence, cheese. So today's episode, I brought along a little bit of cheese, local cheese again, still from Vancouver Island. I know I'm talking about Vancouver Island a lot. I think I got a couple more episodes for it in Vancouver Island that I'm carrying on. Little Qualicum Cheeseworks. These guys are located up in Parksville, a little bit further north up the island, almost kind of halfway up the island. This is their Rathtrevor. Rathtrevor, I think, is the name of a park in the area, so they kind of named it after that park. And it's styled after a Swedish Gruyere. So it's going to be that semi-hard style, medium body kind of cheese. Now, side note, I was having almost like, I love the smell of this wine. It jumps out of the glass. But I'm being distracted because this cheese has that funk to it, that interesting funk. Growing up, I had an uncle. Every time we'd have a dinner where there was a cheese similar to this come out, he'd be like, "Can you please pass me the stinky feet cheese?" That's what he called it. You know what? That's a bang on tasting note. This wine has that stinky cheese funk to it. I love that smell. I think it's great. Super excited to try it. You can find this wine, I keep saying wine. You can find this cheese almost anywhere. I bought this at Thrifty's, local grocery store. Nice cheese. I like that a lot. A little bit of that funk comes through. It tastes like a local artisan cheese though. Get a little bit of that kind of barnyardness coming through it. Nice cheese. Like that. It's going to go good with the wine. Neither of the two overpowering each other. Delicious cheese. Delicious wine. What else can I say? This wine's got a nice finish to it too. Great acidity. Nice and juicy. I'm going to say kind of those nice black tea tannins. A little bit of structure to it. What more can a guy ask for? Thank you, everybody, so much for watching today. Don't forget, wine, depretentiousized, and we'll see you on the next episode.